What's up, Cowboys Nation? Buckle up, because today's news is the kind of headline that shakes the entire fan base. We've got breaking updates straight from the Star. And no, this isn't just another rumor. It's real. It's official. The Dallas Cowboys have pulled the trigger on a trade that's been floating around in speculation for weeks, and now it's finally confirmed. There's a new wide receiver heading to Dallas, and depending on how this plays out, we might be talking about one of the most impactful moves this team has made it in recent memory. Let's get into the details. The Cowboys are receiving not only a new weapon in the receiving corps, but also a 6th-round pick in the 2027 NFL Draft. That's right, not the upcoming draft. We're talking about a future play here, a long-term move. But here's where it gets interesting. In exchange, they're sending away a 5th-round pick in that same 2027 draft. Plus, and this is the real kicker, a 3rd rounder in 2026. That 3rd round selection, that's the jewel of the deal. It's the piece that made the whole thing possible. Until now, Dallas hadn't even been exploring that part of the draft in recent trade talks. At least not seriously, but clearly, something changed. The Cowboys identified a player they believe in and decided to make it happen. And that player, folks, is George Pickens. Yes, George Pickens is now a Dallas Cowboy. Now let's talk football. On paper, this is a significant boost to the wide receiver room. The team desperately needed a true number 2 behind CeeDee Lamb, and now they got one. Let's not sugarcoat it. The group was thin. If Lamb would have missed time, this receiving unit might have been one of the weakest in the league. That's not an exaggeration. That's reality. Before this move, the depth chart didn't inspire much confidence. Tolbert, Turpin, Mingo, these guys have talent, but the consistency just wasn't there. Enter Pickens, and suddenly everything changes. Despite playing in just 14 games last season, Pickens racked up 900 receiving yards. That's not nothing. That's serious production. And when you dig a little deeper, the numbers become even more impressive. He averaged over 16 yards per catch and has crossed the 2,000-yard mark over the past couple of seasons. Not many receivers can say that. He's not just a deep threat, he's a vertical weapon. At 6'3", with a 44.7 second time and a strong build, he brings a physical presence that this offense has lacked. It's been years since the Cowboys had a true vertical threat who could also handle contested catches. Pickens fills that role perfectly, but as much as there's to like about him on the field, we've got to address the other side of the coin. There are some concerns, and they're not minor. His time in Pittsburgh was, let's just say, turbulent. There were reports of him being late to meetings, missing responsibilities, and his head coach didn't shy away from criticizing his maturity and accountability. That's the kind of baggage that can't be ignored. This isn't a criminal issue, let's be clear, but it's about professionalism and whether or not he can be a reliable piece in the locker room. Dallas has made a big deal recently about building a stronger culture, one where leaders step up and the locker room polices itself. Bringing in Pickens puts that philosophy to the test. Can this coaching staff and these veterans help him grow? Can the environment in Dallas unlock his full potential without the drama? That's going to be the question that defines this trade. If it works, the upside is massive. If it doesn't, well, the cost was a 3rd rounder, and that's not nothing. Historically, Dallas has hit on a few solid 3rd round picks. Think about some of the names they've landed in that range. You're giving up real value for this guy, so the payoff has to be worth it. And remember, this isn't a long-term commitment yet. Pickens is heading into the final year of his rookie contract. That's right, final year. And word on the street is that he's not looking for an extension right now. He wants to play it out, bet on himself, and hit the open market next offseason. That means there's a real risk here that this turns into a 1-year rental. Best case, he balls out, gives the Cowboys a dynamic duo alongside Lamb, and then maybe, just maybe, both sides decide to make something work long term. But worst case, he walks, when the Cowboys are left figuring out if it was worth it. And let's talk numbers, because this is where things get dicey. If Pickens has the season he's hoping for, you're looking at a potential contract north of $30 million per year. No, that's not a joke. That's the market right now for high-end receivers. You got guys like A.J. Brown and Tyreek Hill pulling in numbers in that ballpark. CeeDee Lamb is already commanding $34 million. You throw another massive deal into the mix, and suddenly you're reshuffling your entire cap situation. And guess what? Pickens and Lamb share the same agent. That complicates things even more because you better believe they're going to play this negotiation to the max. This deal is aggressive, and frankly, that's refreshing. For years, fans have been calling for Dallas to stop playing it safe, to stop settling for mediocrity, to stop pretending that 9 or 10 wins is some sort of accomplishment. This move, it signals a different mindset. It shows they're willing to take calculated risks. Yes, there's a downside. Yes, there are behavioral concerns, but the talent, it's undeniable. And if you believe in your staff, your locker room, and your system, this is exactly the kind of swing you take. That's what makes this so fascinating. You're not just getting a guy to fill out the depth chart. You're getting a legitimate upgrade. Pickens is an instant WR2, and arguably the best available option Dallas could have realistically acquired. Sure, you could have tried to trade for someone else, but what would the price have been? A first rounder, a package of players, the market wasn't exactly flooded with top-end receivers on the block. Given the cost, a third rounder and a late round pick swap, this feels like a deal with upside. But here's the flip side. If he walks after 1 year and you don't win big during that window, it might sting. That's the nature of this. Business. You take chances, you calculate risk, and you hope your evaluations pay off. It's not always about playing it safe. Sometimes it's about recognizing when an opportunity presents itself and having the guts to make a move. Pickens also brings something that this offense sorely needs, a vertical element. He can stretch the field, win on the outside, and punish defenses who try to stack the box against the run. He's not Dez Bryant, but he doesn't have to be. He's got the physical tools, the athletic profile, and the mentality to become a legitimate threat in this offense. And with Dak Prescott under center and Lamb drawing attention on the other side, there's a real opportunity for him to thrive. So what does this mean going forward? Well, first, someone's got to go. The roster is full, and that means a cut is coming. Could it be one of the fringe receivers, a depth piece, maybe even a special teams guy? We'll find out soon enough. And don't be surprised if this isn't the last move. There's been chatter about adding help on defense, maybe another edge rusher or a veteran corner. The team is clearly in go mode, and there's still time before camp opens to make something happen. That's the big picture here. This isn't just about one player. It's about a shift in strategy. It's about a front office finally willing to be selectively aggressive, willing to push chips in when the moment is right. And right now, this feels like that moment. Now, with all that said, there's one part of this deal that has to be addressed with a little more caution. The contract situation. Like I mentioned before, George Pickens is going into the final year of his rookie deal, and there's currently no indication he wants to work out an extension before hitting free agency. He's betting on himself, and in most cases, that means he's looking for a breakout season and a massive payday. And here's the thing, if he gets it, it's not going to be cheap. Not by a long shot. We're talking $30 million a year, potentially more, depending on how things shake out. That's the type of number that makes front offices squirm, especially when you already have one elite receiver on the books in CeeDee Lamb. Lamb's deal is huge, and having two receivers both making superstar level money, that's rare, not impossible, but rare, and it limits your flexibility. You can't spend big at every position, so the Cowboys will need to decide quickly. Do they want to double down on this core, or is this really just a one-year rental? It's possible that they try to tag him, give him the franchise tag, and push the long-term decision down the road another season. But that brings its own set of problems. You've got to budget that number into your cap, and you risk irritating the player, especially one who just balled out and wants long-term security. If things go south in negotiations, that could easily turn into drama, and the last thing this team needs is another off-season distraction. And don't forget, Pickens and Lamb share the same agent. That matters. That complicates things. Because if one of them is feeling disrespected or underpaid, it could impact the other. This agent knows exactly what the Cowboys can afford, and he's not going to let his clients settle for less. So when we talk about negotiations, it's not just about the money. It's about leverage, timing, and making sure both sides feel like they're winning something. Now look, if Pickens explodes this season, if he puts up 1,100, maybe 1,200 yards and 7 or 8 touchdowns, he's going to feel like he earned WR1 money. He might look at someone like T. Higgins or even a guy like Jalen Waddle and think, yeah, I'm right there with them. That's what Dallas has to prepare for, because you can't afford to be caught off guard by your own success. On the flip side, if he doesn't have the kind of season he's hoping for, then maybe there's a chance to bring him back on a reasonable deal. But that comes with its own gamble. Is he worth locking in long term if the production is just average? The front office will have to weigh everything, the stats, the attitude, the locker room presence, and figure out if this is someone you build around or let walk. What makes this move so intriguing is that it isn't being made in a vacuum. Dallas has been relatively quiet in free agency. This trade feels like a response to the growing frustration from the fan base that the front office wasn't doing enough to push the team forward. Now, we're seeing a different approach, a bold move, a message that the window to win is open right now. But as with any aggressive move, there's pressure. If this doesn't work out, fans and media are going to come down hard on the decision makers. Giving up a third-round pick is no small thing. That's the kind of pick that can turn into a future starter, a rotational pass rusher, a safety, someone that helps you down the line. So this trade is basically saying, we want impact now. And if it doesn't bring that immediate impact, it's going to be criticized harshly. There's also one more element worth watching: locker room chemistry. Pickens isn't just joining a team. He's joining a culture that has had its share of ups and downs. The leadership group in Dallas has been growing, with guys like Dak, Lamb, and others trying to set the tone. But they'll need to make sure Pickens buys in, that he becomes part of the solution, not a new problem. Because if he does, if the maturity takes a step forward and the talent fully blossoms, this could be one of the best under-the-radar pickups of the year. He's got the kind of ability that makes defensive coordinators lose sleep. He's got the kind of physical tools that can take over a game. And in the right system, with the right quarterback, there's no telling how high the ceiling is. So as we wrap up this first wave of analysis, let me throw it back to you. The fans. What do you think about the deal? Is George Pickens worth a third-round pick? Do you believe the Cowboys should try to extend him now or let it ride and see what happens? Is this the kind of swing you've been waiting for from this front office, or are you worried about the baggage that comes with it? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if this is an A, B, C, or maybe even an F grade trade in your book. And don't forget, there are more moves likely coming. The roster is tight and someone has to be cut. There's speculation flying around about who it might be. Could be a wide receiver, could be a defensive back. Heck, they might even bring in another player before camp. We'll be here breaking it all down every step of the way, because when the Cowboys make noise, we talk about it. Every angle, every ripple effect, every possibility. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Rumors have begun to swirl around NFL legend Troy Aikman, suggesting that the Hall of Fame quarterback may be facing a challenging chapter in his personal life. While no official statement has been made by Aikman or his representatives, various sources close to the former Dallas Cowboys star have hinted at signs of emotional and personal distress in recent months. Aikman, widely respected for his leadership on the field and his transition into a successful broadcasting career, has maintained a public image of stability and professionalism for decades. However, recent sightings and social media activity have led to speculation that all may not be well behind the scenes. Fans noted a series of cryptic posts and an uncharacteristically subdued demeanor during recent on-air appearances, fueling concern among those who have long admired the former quarterback's poise. The nature of Aikman's reported struggles remains unclear, with insiders offering little detail. Some suggest he may be grappling with the pressures of his high-profile media career, while others point to possible personal issues away from the spotlight. Aikman, who has always valued his privacy, has neither confirmed nor denied any of the circulating reports, leaving room for both empathy and uncertainty. Supporters of Aikman have rallied on social media, expressing solidarity and reminding the shrug public of his contributions not just to football, but to American sports culture at large. Known for leading the Cowboys to 3 Super Bowl victories in the 1990s, Aikman remains a symbol of resilience and excellence. Yet even icons, as this rumor suggests, are not immune to the weight of personal challenges. As speculation continues, Many hope Aikman is surrounded by support and is taking the steps necessary to navigate whatever difficulties he may be facing. In an era where mental health is gaining rightful attention in professional sports, the situation serves as a quiet reminder that strength is not only measured in touchdowns and trophies, but also in vulnerability and the courage to seek help when it's needed. For now, fans and colleagues alike wait with respect, hoping that if the rumors hold truth, Aikman will emerge from this time with the same grace that defined his career. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.